Om. 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 Share my screen.
Baba wants grace, but never allows it to.
Let me just share my screen so that I can also.
Right.
I'm not able to share because I'm not. I'm not able to share this.
Am I waiting first or is somebody else? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm just trying to share my screen and then we can start the reading.
Okay.
Sure.
How come I'm not able to share the screen?
I can read. I can read from my screen.
Can you also share it? Do you have?
Share it. It's not. It's in my, because I'm using two devices.
You're using two devices.
Yeah.
Okay. But then how will we present? Oh, what's this problem? Let me just get someone to help me.
I will need the screen because I don't have it with me.
Oh,
So.
you can share the screen?
No, I'm just saying I don't have anything, so I need the screen actually to read.
Yeah. So just give me one minute.
Sure, sure, no problem.
Okay, now it's working.
Okay.
3, 2, yeah, I'm just documents and okay. Are you able to see the screen?
Yeah.
I'm not yet. Yeah, got it. Yes.
Got it? All right.
Yeah.
Okay, we can continue.
Okay, Sairam, Baba grants grace, but never allows it to foster the ego in man. The vibhuti stops, or some other harsh reminder is given when the ego raises its ugly head. Hysteria. Baba calls it when a person gets intoxicated with pride or envy as a result of his shower. One has to be constantly aware of one's weakness, and one has to be praying every moment for the faith necessary to receive the grace, or else one has no right to claim kinship with the Sai family. Baba does not encourage anyone to demand or receive special reverence as a sign that he has bestowed upon the person some signal proof of his grace. But people find it difficult to resist the temptation of offering and accepting the reverence that will harm both receiver and giver. They slide down the ego way into spiritual nihilism. Baba told the gathering at Kaninada, there are some who come to you and say, Satya Sai Baba likes me much. He has given me this, a thing which he seldom gives except to those who are nearest to him. And then they beg for help or crave special attention, which is an insult to the divine principle itself. To receive the mark of grace from me is a great responsibility. It is a reminder that you should be humble, straight in speech, truthful, detached, and ever aware of the Sai in all. But there are some who celebrate the anniversary of the first appearance of Vibhuti in a grand manner, collecting donations for the same, yet others who dispatch Vibhuti or Amrit by post to correspondence and collect donations, leaving little knowing the injury they are causing to their own progress. There's another series of happenings too, of which mention can be made there. Little children, or sometimes even feeble-minded adults growing up in the atmosphere of unreasoning external worship, are prone to suffer from visions, to imagine that they hear voices, and to believe that they're able to read that he writes or otherwise communicates with Baba. When such cases are known to exist in one house, the neighbor's child is more likely to be affected too. Thus, a regular mass hysteria developed recently in Madras city, in East Godavari district and in South Kannada district, as well as in Ceylon. Baba condemned this in strong terms. At Amalapuram on the 29th March 1965, he said, "This has become quite an infection. I'm not laughing at anyone or blaming anyone, but the truth must be made known. There are quite a few around Amalapuram who declare that I'm coming upon them, possessing them, speaking through them. They wave their hands and sway and shake and shiver, and people sitting around them assert that they're under my influence. They answer questions, and the agents and brokers claim that they're granting interviews as I do. This deceitful disease is spreading among people through schemers and cheats. Whenever you see or hear about people suffering from this disease, nip it in the bud. Scot the agents first, and teach the child or the feeble-minded adult to shut up and be normal. I never speak through another. I never use another or possess another physical vehicle to express myself. I am not a ghost or spirit to do so. To need some medium. I come direct, I speak direct, I come so as I am, or I will become in fresh created forms. I do not use weak, vacillating human vehicles. I confer boons straight and without any intermediary. At Yelemanchili, he said, persons who claim to be possessed by me have appeared recently. All them out whenever you meet them. Do not err to such morons and fakes, and lower your own dignity as devotees. Devotees of Baba are advised by him to be ever vigilant against the subtle pull of sinister and the secret. When the avatar has come and is so accessible and free with grace, it is sheer stupidity, to say the least, to lionize the disease and the deliberate proofs. Chapter 11, Cities Are Aflame. His speech with even casual visitors becomes a pat on the back, often a prick to the bubble, a stab to the ego, a candle in the darkness, a stick to the flame, a path in the wilderness, a rose amid the thorns, a beacon that beacons to nobility and divinity. A smile from him is a cherished treasure that one would nourish in the silence of the shrine. Charles Pence writes from Los Angeles, across the oceans, Baba reaches to each one of us time after time. He blesses, he leads, he gives strength to those needing support. He smiles his acknowledgement by a whispered, God bless, and beckons those he wants to guide to Prashanti Nilanam. He teaches us that life is endless, not punctuated by nights, days, months, and years, for all are one in eternal stream. This was the lesson Baba gave to the gathering of Prasanti Nilayam also on the Uttarayana Day, January 14, 1966. Festival based on the calendar solar or lunar, celebrating the apparent change of movement or direction of the sun or the moon, have been devised, he said, in order to emphasize the need for mind control. The moon is the presiding deity of the mind and intelligence regulation. The sun is the presiding deity of intelligence. Placing disappropriate faith in material wealth and objective pleasures, man has lost the art of tapping the resources of joy within himself, within his own mind and intelligence. One need not wait for Udayana to arrive for resolving upon the process of mind control and intelligence sublimation. Every moment is the right moment. That is Baba's message. He is the urgent, the insistent call for wakefulness, for action, for gaining the joy in spiritual progress without delay or diminution. He fills our heart with this message as no one else can. For who else can say, as he does, the kinship between me and you is ageless. It is eternal. It is not based on worldly relationship. It is based on the aspiration of the heart for the very source and spring of inexhaustible joy. I see you all as waves of the sea when the moon rises in the sky. I see the Ananda shining in your faces. The love you have for the source of love is the real root of that Ananda. Every year since 1940, when he announced that he was Sai Baba, come again, the emergence of one linga or many from his body through his mouth has taken place during the Vigodbhava Muhurta, the auspicious moment for the exterior manifestation of the symbol of all-pervading divine principle. This is the inscrutable mystery, how the lingas are various types of stone or metal or form within him and how they emerge at that particular moment. Every year calculated according to the ancient text of Jyotish Sastra. 9 lingas of silver has come out one year. In other years, there emerge 5 or 7 or 3 or 2, all in a lump or in succession until that illustrious moment no one can pronounce on the number, size, or composition of the lingas that are undergoing concretization in him. It is also normal under the Vigodbhava Muhurtas arise. The gathering of 20 or 25,000 sits expectant and worshipful, listening to the discourses by pundits of some scripture text or spiritual discipline. The talks are mostly on Shiva, the aspect of the Godhead that destroyed the basic ignorance that awards enlightenment over once the accumulated consequences of the past and wipes off all traces of one's animal ancestry in order to cleanse the mighty stream called the mind. When the pundits have finished, Baba takes up the pen and sweetens the program with all of his inimitable discourses. At one point during that discourse or at the end of it, during the bhajan session with Baba leads with a few songs, people become aware of the light cup, which as many of them know is a harbinger of the precious linga. The appearing eloquence is interrupted off and on by gaps until the eternal trust can no longer be checked. Thus, then amidst the paean of praise Om Namah Shivaya, rising among many thousands of tongues, the lingas travel to the mouth and fall onto a silver plate. Baba invariably holds them aloft for all to see and revere. They are kept for our view for the whole night. In the morning, Baba takes them in his palm and passes along the serried ranks of bhaktas who are stunned by the sign which could not, without a miracle, pass through the tiny passage of the throat. In 1966, after about 20 minutes of swaying and heavy gasping and coughing in order to ease the passage, an emerald linga, 3 inches high, fixed on a pedestal 5 inches across, that had formed itself in him, emerged from his mouth, to the unspeakable joy and relief of the huge gathering, which was watching his face with single-pointed attention. Thousands were exhilarated by the divine event which took place in the newly built, magnificently lit Shanti Vedika. The entire night was spent by the gathering in bhajan. Baba appeared again at the Shanti Vedika at dawn the next day when the bhajan was closing. He reminded the people on the meaning of the vigil and the pain, the lesson of self-control, of mind control, and the elimination of ego through a rigorous discipline. Then he moved along the lines of pilgrim with a unique illustration of his glory so that their eyes could feast on it. In the last week of February 1966, Baba presided over the school day celebration of the Zilla Parishad High School, Bakapatnam, which grew into a high school because of his blessings, since he had given it the privilege of calling him an old boy. In grateful acknowledgement of his fostering care, the school is named Bhagwan Satya Sai Baba High School. Baba exhorted the parents to hold forth for emulation by the children, good example of virtue and humility and service to fellow men. On the 2nd day of March, he was at Hyderabad for a 3-day session of the Prashanti Vidwan Mahasabha. About 50 to 60,000 people listened eagerly each day to the discourses of scholars like Professor V.K. Gokak and Sri D. Venkatavadani. and to the authentic addresses of Bhagwan himself. Baba is by far the most moving speaker in the world today, for he keeps hundreds of thousands listening for hours in rapt attention to the highest philosophical truth, which he analyzes and presents in sweetest rhetoric. Each one feels that the speech is directed at him in order to help him out of the intellectual or moral tangle into which he has been drawn by circumstances. Each one rises with a lesson load, happy and strong for having had the experience of listening to that melodious voice, which opens the gates of heaven to the poorest in spirit as well as to the richest. No wonder Professor Gokak was inspired to sing in verse. Have you seen Baba, who sets cities aflame with longing, drenches them with the delight of existence? You miss the very meaning of your life if you haven't seen him or heard him. Baba made it clear that Prashanti Vidwan Mahasabha was designed by him to remind men of the road they missed and of the paltry track of pitfalls into which they have strayed. The patient has now no respect for the doctor who alone can cure him, or the drug which alone can give relief. Imitative condemnation and superficial cynicism are destroying the faith of the children of the land of their own invaluable culture. They are becoming victims of alien attitudes and fashions of dress, behavior, and mental outlook. The Prashanti Vidwan Mahasabha will pave the way to peace through though not to the achievement of competitive glory. Baba reaches Bombay on his third visit to the city on the 13th day of March 1966. As Baba said, Maharashtra is the Holy Land where the stream of Bhakti has fertilized social, political, and psychological fields for ages. Ramdas, Tukaram, Gyaneshwar, and many others have filled the hearts of the people with reverence for God and love for men. This was also the field of activity, the center which radiated the grandeur of the Sai form of this present Satya Sai. Do not doubt that Maharashtra will soon be a center of dharmic revival. During the fortnight that he stayed in Bombay, Baba established himself in the hearts of hundreds of thousands of its citizens through his simplicity and sweetness. As Dr. Gokak had described it, he becomes noiselessly and naturally the patriarch of each family that gathers around his knee and drinks the golden honey of his love. He's the eternal child playing in the garden, winning back the adults of erring world. Through sheer simplicity and innocence of heart, he's the healer of a world in pain, the blue-throated God that drinks the poison of the world's suffering to make it happy and whole. His speech with even casual visitors become a pat on the back, often a prick to the bubble, a stab to the ego, a candle in the darkness, a stick to the lame, a path in the wilderness, a rose amid the thorns, a beacon that beckons to nobility and divinity. A smile from him is a cherished treasure that one would nourish in the silence of the shrine. The stories and smiles with which he illuminates psychological conundrums of valued possession forever. People clamor for the chance to touch his feet, to have the children named or initiated into spiritual disciplines according to scriptural rules by him, to receive some token by his grace, and to lay before him the mental and physical illness so that he may render them whole. His grace grants color to the painter, notes to the composer, voice to the singer, strength to the athlete, endurance to the climber, and bliss to the yogis. So all roads led to Gwalior Palace, Worli Beach. For the full 2 weeks in Bombay, for Baba gave darshan in the morning and the evening every day there during bhajan session. Bhajan, Baba has given like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu centuries ago an extraordinary impetus to the congregational singing of the praise of God. He declares that when one breathes in the atmosphere rendered fragrant with the name of God, all egoistic impulses are eliminated. The halo which it carries and the nuances of its meaning have also to be recalled to memory. It is not just gymnastic for the tongue, it is gymnastic for the mind, anemic, malformed, and maimed in order to strengthen it with the tonic of the tone of heaven, correct it with the pressurized message of beat and tar, and cue it with the drug of divine joy that association with good men bring. The sweetness of human voice is never more apparent than when it is used to sing the majesty of God, the highest bliss in who is one, when one merges with thousands of others in the flood of Ananda, which the darshan of the Satya Sai Baba moving among the thirsty, the pinning, the sick, the distressed, and divinely oriented confers. As Dr. K. Bhaskara Nair writes, the deafness of our soul is cured and the heavenly harmony is again audible to the ear of faith. The humblest life is lifted to the skies and acquires the aura of eternity. Man is unable to find sense in his chaos of experience and discover the meaning and measure of his incomprehensive flux of successes, flourishing and perishing, which we call time. As Honorable Sri P.K. Savant, Ministry of Agriculture, Government of Maharashtra, and erstwhile Chairman of Shirdi Samastan said, Bhagwan is the avatar of Sai Baba of Shirdi, to whom millions look for strength and solace. Baba belongs to Maharashtra in a special sense, though he has come for all humanity. The bhajan session provided splendid chances for Sai devotees to serve the people of Bombay. Hundreds of trained volunteers served visitors with humility and loving regard. Baba selected from the gathering children and old persons who were ill beyond repair by medical skill, and calling them aside after the bhajan, diagnosed and dealt with them with divine love to bless them with relief and health. Baba addressed mammoth gathering, the like of which even Bombay has seldom seen in its long history, at the Sardar Vallabhbhai Stadium on the 16th, 17th, and on the 23rd of March. The last meeting was on Gudi Padwa Day, the festival of the New Year in Maharashtra, and lakhs of people directed their steps to the stadium to have his darshan and to hear his voice as their inaugural experience for the coming 12-month period of their lives. Baba too gave them a message that, as Sri Page, the chairman of the Maharashtra Legislative Council, said, could sweeten and lighten the burden of life. Baba said, man is tossed about by every wind and wave. He has wakened his will and warped his vision. So he drifts in shoals and whirlpools. He is the child of immortality, heir to divinity, destined to be the master of the mind and its waywardness. The crown of creation. He's not a monkey that has taken but a few steps towards civilization. Realize the God that is immanent in the universe, that is calling for the recognition from every flower, every dewdrop, every star that twinkles in the sky. Realizing are the source of the ananda that you project on the objects around you, so you may enjoy them. That realization will clothe the world and you in a new and glorious vesture. It will make you unafraid. It will render death a pleasant passage to birthlessness. Baba found time while in Bombay to discuss with the members of the Maharashtra branch of the Prasanti Vidwan Mahasabha, as well as other seekers and aspirants' personal and physiological problems. It steps into the hearts of all who sought solace and sustenance. Baba left Bombay on the 26th of March for Pune, where the city had arranged a grand welcome for him. On the 27th, he addressed a gathering in the premises of Dara Association. The thousands before me here listen to my words, but fundamentally, you alone, you're 1,000 waves on the face of the ocean. Food is earned by the combined efforts of all limbs and skill of body. It is converted by the stomach into sustenance and strength and given back in that form to all limbs that help to produce it. You're all limbs of that one body. the Purusha, who is far more expensive than this universe, which is but a fraction of his physical manifestation. He spoke about the attempts to limit oneself by name and form as belonging to this nation or that, speaking one language or another, and building a cage around oneself, referring to the remark made by someone while welcoming him, that is, that it was a family gathering. Baba said, yes, this is a family gathering. As a matter of fact, all gathering into which I come are family gathering for me. The entire mankind is my family. I carry no labels assigning a country of origin or residence for myself. I am above all labels. Baba reached Gulbarga in the state of Mysore late at night on the 28th, and by sunrise he was sitting in long lines all over the vast Maidan, people from far and near, eager to carry away in their hearts the picture of his smiling face. Baba moved among them and distributed vibhuti to one and all. Later, at the public garden where another mammoth gathering awaited his presence, Baba sang a few bhajans and gave the Gulbargans a taste of the sweetness of his heavenly voice. Baba reached Hyderabad in time to give darshan to devotees on the day dedicated to the advent of Sri Rama. That day is sacred to devotees for another reason too, for it was on that day that Baba gave the world the institution around which was crystallized the faith and hope of the custodian of the Vedic culture of India, namely Prashanti Vidwan Mahasabha. Therefore, the Hyderabad branch of the Prashanti Vidwan Mahasabha inaugurated on Sri Rama's birthday monthly discourses on the ancient but timeless texts of spiritual discipline. Baba returned to Prashanti Nilayam on the 4th day of April after assuring lakhs of people that divinity had not given up humanity but has also to be discovered within man himself. Baba is a unique phenomenon, and therefore no one can identify himself or understand him. In 1960, he said, I've not come to Madras for personal propaganda or publicity. I've not come to collect disciples or devotees. I'm yours. Though you may doubt, discard, or deny me, you're mine, though I'm far away in space or time. What then is the need for publicity or propaganda? I'm in you, you're in me, we are inseparable. This truth can be known by you only when you know yourself. But the world has foolish men who can feed their ego only by slandering those who are reversed by others. Even in his 20th year, Baba assuaged the resentment of his elder brother, who feared that the role which Baba had taken up will draw upon him the evil eye of envy and hate. Baba had replied that he would never be affected by praise or blame, that he was beyond the bounds of time and space, that he would pursue the tasks upon which he had come unintermittently. I invite all to come experience, discriminate, and judge, and benefit from me. Dive before you pronounce your estimate of the deaf. Eat before you declare the taste, he wrote. This demand is beyond people who dip their pen in tar and revel in the gloom of night. Pathetic efforts have been made since the very first annunciation of Baba to win people away from his feet by those who saw thousands trekking to Puttaparthi and returning home happier, healthier, and more convinced of their own liberation from bondage. But Baba has dismissed this with divine disdain and planted his feet on earth and sky. As he planned when he arrived in this human form. To grasp my meaning, you have to tear into tatters, doubts, and diversion that you now indulge in and develop prema. For the embodiment of prema can be known only through wisdom and pure prema. Microscopic brains exaggerate the color of the gown that Baba wears and the curly hair that forms its distinctive crown, and indulge in adjectives and expressions such as medieval potentate, luxurious silk, etc. As if Baba is an aesthetic attempting laboriously to travel along the path of sadhana, Baba says. The Jnani will not look upon me as wearing as a yellow gown today, pink gown tomorrow, cotton in summer, silk in winter. He will penetrate into the truth behind this name and form, and will know that this body is a dress worn for a purpose. The avatar that will take place next of this same principle will have another dress. This was said by him in 1960. In 1962, during the birthday festival, he said, I have often told you not to identify me with this particular physical buildup, but you do not understand. You call me by one name only, and I believe I have only this one form. Remember, there is no name I do not bear. There is no form I do not fill. You have not understood me at all if you come one day and go away the next, saying, I have seen Satya Sai Baba. He wears a fine long gown. He has wonderful hair. Determined to discover, decide to learn, deep dive, and then I will be made known to you. For it is the right of such as you. Baba is aware of me.
I think we are ready for the next
Thank you.
video. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Please go
Baba
ahead.
is okay, yeah. Baba is aware that mean men sneer at him as a magician. At Vyasashram, established by the renowned Malayala Swami at Yerpedu, he said, people say that mine is all magic, black or white. Well, they can say with equal truth that Krishna held aloft the Govardhana mountain, or that Rama built the bridge across the sea through black magic. The manifestation of the divine can only be inexplicable or miraculous. They cannot be equated with magic. How can the egg of a cuckoo be equated with the egg of the crow? Magic thrives on deceit. The tricks are rooted in falsehood and are used for appeasing the greed for food, clothing, and shelter. This body, which has come through divine will to uphold truth, can never stoop to that depth. No, never. The miracles, which are spontaneous expressions of Baba's divinity, plentifully patent in his presence, as well as where his physical presence is not evident, are not for advertisement or publicity. Baba said at Venkatgiri in 1964, these miracles, as you call them, are but means towards the establishment of dharma, which is my task. Some people remark that Ramakrishna Paramahansa had said that miracles produced by the faculties earned by sadhana are obstructions in the path of the sadhaka, and they should be avoided by those who want to reach the goal of self-realization. Ramakrishna said that the sadhaka would be tempted to overdo the demonstration that inflated his ego. This is correct advice so far as sadhakas are concerned, but the absurdity lies in equating me with the sadhaka, whom Ramakrishna warned. The miraculous cures that Baba effects when his grace is sought after by people are also incidental and secondary, according to him. The removal of misery and distress is not the main plank of my mission. My task is not merely to cure, console, and remove individual misery. It is something far more important. For the plant and tree, the fruit is the chief consummation, but the leaves and the trunk are also useful to man. My main task is to promote, preserve, and propagate Sanatana Dharma. Do not hunger for comfort, for continuous bonds with the outer world, for more and more things to worry about. Hunger for Ananda, deep and full. I know that most of you come to me for tinsel and trash, petty promotions and profits, status symbols and short-lived fame. Very few ask from me the thing I have come to give, namely liberation from grief and pain, worry and fear, anxiety and agony. Since the vile insinuations that are circulated by the calumniators are the products of envy at what they consider to be the luxurious living standard of Baba, it is good to remember that Baba eats the food of the poorest of this land, without any milk or curds or butter or ghee, and that he has no taste for sweets. He sits and sleeps on the same mattress at Prashanti Nilayam and uses dilapidated cars or taxis in cities, lest the masses recognize him and follow him for the coveted darshan. Baba gives another reason also to infer that his lot is unenviable, to say the least. Some of you may feel that it is glorious for the Lord to come in human form. If you were in my place, you would not feel so glorious, for I am aware of the past, present, and future of every one of you. Therefore, I am not moved by mercy. I know why a person suffers in this birth, what is the consequence of, so I react differently from you. You may call me either cold hearted or soft hearted. I do not cause joy or grief. You design the chains that bind you, both gold and iron. He is the most tireless worker at the Nilayam, planning, designing, arranging, and supervising every little act that conduces to the proper functioning of its various worldwide activities. Nothing is done there or in other places where organizations function in his name without his express permission and blessings. At the Nilayam, he is busy day and night teaching, training, consoling, comforting, and counseling the hundreds who come to him for light and guidance. Even while on tour, he uses what little time he can spare for the amelioration of the suffering and the distressed, the poor and the downhearted. Make every moment holy by filling it with loving service, he advises, for example, more than by precept. Baba curbs the enthusiasm of devotees and does not allow them to display the fruits of the grace they have received from him. He declares that such display is highly unspiritual, for it promotes egoism. He condemns in very strong terms those who try to earn popularity and profit by erecting mandirs and temples for him. Speaking at Kakinada in March 1965, Baba said, I strongly discourage attempts to build temples for me. I ask instead that existing temples be renovated and used more. This mania for mandirs has become a popular business uh, adventure. People armed with lists search for likely victims and squeeze donations out of them using my name. A great deal of backbiting, envy, and greed is generated in this process. Pushing your master's name forward easily degenerates into tarnishing the name of the other man's master. At Madras, too, he harped on the same theme. I do not appreciate this enthusiasm. Worship any form, under any name, in any temple. You neglect the ancient, sorry, I can. You neglect the ancient temples of this city and build new ones, only to neglect them also when you discover some reason to give up these new ones. People who run helter skelter clamoring for donations for mandirs are really promoting atheism, for they are urged by greed, malice, and egoism rather than by dedicatory spirit of devotion. When these self styled promoters of the cause come to you, do not give even a paisa. Why do you need a hall for japa or dhyana? Make your house a small mandir for yourself. Meditate in your shrine room, sing bhajans with your children, impress others by your sweet speech, your humility, your universal love, your steady faith, your truthfulness. Then others will come into the fold of believers in numbers larger than any hall could bring. Baba is ever on the watch to stop the overflowing of devotion into absurd channels. For example, there was a man who devised a series of discourses on Baba and on Prashanti Nilayam, which he sought to win popularity and money by attributing sacred properties to every tree and, well, every stone and stump at the Nilayam, representing them as gods and sages. Baba sent me to his field of activity and directed me to warn his fans and to scotch his campaign of absurd adulation. He is ever alert to condemn the hysterical outpourings of adolescent and childish devotees who affect to be possessed by him and to reply to questions asked as if they are himself. Any behavior that weakens man, that trades upon the signs of grace, that sets up pompous symbols of the simple truth, is immediately condemned by Baba. In his discourse or through a note in the Sanatana Sharadi magazine and its subsidiaries. To misuse the freedom of speech and expression that we have won in India after a hard struggle, and to taint with foul language and pen this sublime sacred phenomenon with so much power, wisdom, and love, is, we know, undiluted wickedness. But Baba will only say that it is a part of his play. Without this dark slander, the splendor of my glory will not shine bright. Picturing Baba to be just another itinerant fakir who trades upon esoteric skills, many mean and small men who can see only meanness and smallness, are slandering him wherever his glory shines. All men must hang their heads in shame that human beings like themselves sit in their dens and concoct outrageously despicable fiction about a person whose movements and utterances, attitudes, and manners are so impeccably divine. It is a measure of the fortitude and self control that Baba has instilled into those whom he has drawn towards him, the conviction that rats which revel in stink are best left alone to die of starvation. All who have tasted his sweetness are pained by this exhibition of morbid malignophobia. Many newspapers howl pitiably against the moon of His Majesty and silence themselves when their throats get too sore or when their hunger is not appeased by blackmail. Some men in Bombay, unaware of his glory, once pitted a practitioner of yogic feats like consuming nails and acids against His Majesty, and when he passed unconcernedly by, tried to raise a laugh, which recoiled like a thunderclap on themselves. Baba referred to it at Anantapur, where he presided over a school day soon after his return. Last month, I was in Maharashtra state in Bombay, where lakhs and lakhs of people were able to slake their thirst for darshan. I was discoursing to several thousands on the fundamentals of the Vedas and the Shastras and directing the members of the Prashanti Vidwan Mahasabha, Maharashtra branch, to resuscitate the great culture of our land. I was discussing with ministers of Maharashtra state and the Home Minister of the central government, Sri Y.B. Chavan, and also judges, business magnates, doctors, lawyers, editors, and others, besides spiritual leaders of various religions, about Dharma Sthapana or the revival of Dharma. But here in this part of India, newspapers were wallowing in the lies they invented and circulated about my being all the while in prison. Yes, I am present in the hearts of my devotees. Of course, such calumny is the experience of eminence everywhere at all times. This has been my experience in previous eras also. The successors of Shishupala even now fret and fume, vomiting brimstone and fire against truth and right. I pity these unfortunates who, in order to scrape together a few paise from diseased minds, stoop to such venial tricks. These subhuman antics might pain some of you, so I declare, even if all the 14 worlds unite against me, the work for which I have come will not suffer a bit. Even if earth and heaven combine in opposition, my truth will remain unshaken. Perhaps in response to the first rumblings of this tale of Gaul, Baba had said during Dashera 1965 itself, "There are some who write and speak as if they have known me. I can only say this, they can never know me, for to know me, one has to rise to this stature." Again, listen to this. My activities and movements will not be altered, whoever may pass whatever opinion on them. People may remark disparagingly on my dress, on my gown of colored fabric, on my hair, but I am not affected at all. Does a person become holier by wearing rags? Pay attention to what is grown in the heart, not on the head. I shall not stop my plans, my dharmasthapana, my bhakta rakshana, my discourses, my miracles, which are but expressions of my miraculousness, nor shall I retrace or retract. For 26 years, I have been carrying on alone the task of inculcating Prashanti in the hearts of those who have lost the art of gaining it. I am ever happy, full of joy. I smile at those who deride me and invent lies about me. I smile at those who praise me. Baba advised those who were pained by this irresponsible but futile mudslinging to be calm and unconcerned. Do not damage your health by anger or worry. Be happy, on the other hand, that while you call on me in your shrines, these men shout my name along the dark, squalid by lanes and by the busy bus stops, where they hope to find victims for their salacious wear. Many people who read the rag through sheer craving for the sensational will be turned towards the truth by the very absurdity and unbelievability of the lies. He instanced the story of Bhasmasura, who won from Shiva the power of causing a conflagration on the body of anyone upon whose head he places his hand. He tried to kill Shiva himself by this newly won capability. But God so manipulated events that, unaware of what he was doing to himself, Bhasmasura was tempted to place his hand upon his own head. He died in the conflagration that he lit upon himself. So too, their wickedness and their pride will be reduced to ashes in the fire of repentance. In fact, a gentleman who ignorantly equated Baba with his own species of exhibitionistic yogis and challenged him to do a much advertised feat was humiliated by his own conceit. His promoters suffered dramatic discomfiture. Baba analyzed the motives of these men afflicted with pride. He said, egoism is the seed plot of a host of down dragging tendencies like greed, anger, malice, and hate. It clouds the intelligence and distorts the face of the real into the disgusting features of the false. It hides truth in a cloud of dust and urges man into immoral deeds. In the effort to cater to the claims of self-aggrandizement during Dasara 1966, Baba spoke of some yogis who boasted that they could walk on water and challenge others to do likewise. It is a far greater and far more useful vital attainment if a yogi can trample on envy, pride, greed, and malice. Speaking of men of little faith, Baba said on Krishna Janmashtami 1966, do not give ear to what others say. Believe your own experience, your own eyes. Whatever gives you joy and peace, believe that as genuine. Why should you go about asking all and sundry whether something is salt or sugar? Having judged it as sugar, why should you revise your opinion when someone cavils at it and says it is salt? Put a little on your tongue, that will clinch the issue. Do not deny with the tongue what you have relished in the heart. Do not bear false witness to your own conscience. Do not adjust your opinion to the company you fall into, he advised. Only the divine can evince such love and such mercy towards error and mischief. Baba forgave his traducers, for they were, as he said, moths whose nature is to bore into fabrics. They cannot but do anything else. They have an inner impulse, which they have not been taught to overcome. They slander all who come in their purview. The moth bores into cotton saris, woolen cloths, silken vestments. It has no discrimination in its makeup. So, be happy that they are deriving joy by reviling me. My aim is to render all men joyful. If these men can derive joy through such means, why should you deny them that avenue for the expression of their nature? I am glad that they are able to feed their wives and children with the coins which the stink sheets give them. Why should you be miserable when they are eating their meal? Baba is Prema Swarupa. He is love in every limb and look, in every glance and stance, in every gesture and vesture of thought. So, he pardons these dealers in untruth and asks all good men to pray for their correction. Sooner or later, they are bound to repent. No man can wander in the wilderness for long. When he discovers that he has lost his way, he will stop and retrace his steps until he regains the highway. Pray for their transformation into sattvic individuals, for the speedy cure of their blindness, for their tongues to cognize the taste of truth. Direct your love to these misguided brothers. They will rejoin the pilgrim path soon, Baba said, addressing the Dasra gathering in 1966. He gave the example of the leech, which relishes diseased blood from the wound, but drops off when it is too bloated to suck further. They too fall off when they have had their fill. When water is poured into milk, the water too acquires value and fetches a price. When lies are manufactured about the great, people who prefer nausea will pay cash for them. Baba mentioned also a positive advantage which these traducers confer. He said, when the winnowing is done, the husk falls afar and can be thrown into the furnace. The grain forms a mound. It can be stored and made into bread that sustains and gives strength. These men fanning the empty air separate the chaff from the grain. Persons without deep rooted faith fall off at the first whisper of scandal, But persons who have their faith deep rooted stand up against the storm, they get tougher and harder in fiber. In May 1966, Baba spent about 10 days in a coffee plantation in the charming hills district of Coorg in Mysore. Coorg is the home of a hardy race of stalwarts in the fields of sports and battle. It is the nursery of heroic soldiers. The Coorgs are hospitable and pious. They trek long distances, uphill and downhill, along the winding roads in order to have a glimpse of the Lord staying in their midst. Baba had a smile and a blessing for every one of them. He visited a number of Coorg homes and spread light and joy. The bungalow where he stayed became the target for cars and omnibuses from miles around. Later, Baba left for Madras, and from thence he accompanied some devotees to Kodaikanal, another salubrious hill station. Every day at Kodaikanal, as at Coorg, bhajan sessions were held so that hundreds and thousands could imbibe the joy of singing the glory of God in chorus and thrill at the darshan of Baba. Baba said, "The good luck of these people on the hills brought me here, else I had no plan to come." Soon, Baba drove down to Madurai city, where devotees had completed the construction of a new suburb around a Sai Baba temple, which was named Satya Sai Nagar in reverential gratitude. Discourses were given by Pandits from Tamil Nadu on 3 evenings, and Baba, who presided, supplemented them with his elucidations. Returning to Prashanti Nilayam with the first rains of the monsoon, Baba was available for darshan to about 10,000 people who gathered on Guru Purnima. He gave each of them a few drops of Amrit, nectar, with the exhortation that the tongue, which has tasted Amrit, should no longer relish Anrit, falsehood. Baba inaugurated the branch of the State Bank of Prashanti Nilayam Township, an amenity to help residents as well as the thousands who visited the place. Baba transmutes each such occasion into a spiritual harvest. So, in his discourse, he compared the bank where money is taken and given to the bank where love alone is accepted and given. That bank, he said, receives deposits and maintains accounts strictly and confidentially. Every little deposit is entered and accounted for. Thoughts, deeds, words, good, bad, indifferent, develop the saving habit for saving yourself. Here, they take dhanam, which is money. There, they take dhyanam, equanimity, as deposit. Each sentence was a brilliant flash revealing the deepest truth. I just take a sip of water. On the 3rd of August, Baba presided over the opening day celebrations of the primary health center at Kotta Cheruvu, a village 7 miles by road from the Nilayam. Baba was welcomed enthusiastically by the villagers as well as by the Honorable Minister for Panchayat Raj, Dr. Lakshmi Narsaya from Hyderabad, and leaders elected to local bodies by the people of Anantapur district. One of them, Sri T. Ramachandra Reddy, the president of the district board Anantapur, confessed, "I must admit that it is only after his fame has spread all over the world that we, who are living so near Puttaparthi, have come to realize his divinity." The minister also said, "He is so near us, but we commit the mistake of dealing with him as if he is distant." There are many officers of the district on the dais. So Baba said, "The cabinet of ministers, the officers, and the people are like the 3 blades of the fan rotating here. To give us cool comfort, they must all be activated by the current, that is the spirit of service, to give happiness and peace." The mention by the doctor of the need for family planning by means of artificial aids drew from Baba a forthright condemnation of the movement that is bound to undermine morality and let loose buffeting storms of passion. It is only rigorous self-control through sadhana that can ensure the acceptance of parental responsibility. Countrywide movements to spread artificial aids will bring about the fall of moral standards. The 4th of August 1966 is an important date in the history of Prashanti Nilayam, for on that day, the Minister of Panchayat Raj, Andhra Pradesh, ceremonially declared that the area was separated from the village of Puttaparthi, of which it was but a ward. It was constituted into an administrative unit named the Prashanti Nilayam Township. This was because the Nilayam was fast developing into the spiritual hub of India and the world. Its rays were heralding the dawn of a bright new day in all continents of the earth. Baba called upon the residents of the colony to use the new administrative setup for the benefit of this as well as neighboring areas. In September, on the birthday of Krishna, Baba gave Amrit to all who had gathered, and also the Amrit of his discourse on 2 days. Edison, he said, the great scientist and inventor, used to spend hours and days in his laboratory concentrating on some experiment or problem. Milk, bread, or tea was pushed into the room from under the closed door, but they were untouched until he solved the riddle that was in his mind. So great is the concentration that science demands. Consider then how much more should the sadhaka be fixed in single-mindedness in order to achieve success in the subtler and the more sublime sphere of spiritual conquest. Man must be both bright and light, like the lamps that float on the Ganga at Hardwar. If the weight of worldly desire is added, the lamp will sink and the light will be out. Dasara 1966. While discoursing prior to the hoisting of the Prashanti flag, Baba gave a new message to the thousands before him. I shall tell you of one form of worship which will endow you with divine strength. It was a reverential and grateful use by man of the 5 elements that are his constituents and his manifestations: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Use them all intelligently, he said. Use them to promote your own welfare and the welfare of others. Use them in moderation and for the service of humanity. The Hospital Day celebrations were presided over by Opal McRae, a famous writer and social worker from the United States, who had come to the Nilayam for her sadhana. She spoke of her attempts to cure insanity, feeble-mindedness, and other defects by the therapy of music in New York and Hong Kong. Baba said music is the instrument by which passions are sublimated, emotions tamed, and impulses directed to higher purposes. India has recognized the therapeutic excellence of music long, long ago. Baba declared that medicine and hospitalization were for those who hesitated and argued in doubt. For those who rely on the supreme doctor, his name is drug enough. In his discourses on the significance of the yagna, on the activities of the Prashanti Vidwan Mahasabha, on the occasion of recitation of poems by poets, on the drama Radha Bhakti, which he wrote and directed, contains, as he said, the quintessence of a dozen discourses of mine. Baba was continuously harping on the pathetic condition of the world and of India, which he has come to heal. The world is now narrowly compartmentalized on the basis of religion, color, convictions, etc. Those who question the validity of compartments are themselves in a compartment. Metal pieces gathered in a heap are still pieces. They have not been fused. Fuse the peoples in the crucible of love into one. The heart must be purged of hate. When God is installed therein, hate will flee. The thinkers of the West are turning to the East to learn the art of keeping peace and winning peace, lasting, satisfying peace, Prashanti. The sun is a minute dot of light when compared with some of the stars, but it does give illumination and drives away darkness. So too, India may be a poor and weak nation, but it can give light and grant peace. Baba also spoke of the social illness of maladjustment that are infesting the world in the wake of mechanization and industrialization. He said this modern man's divine nature, which struggled to blossom into service, sacrifice, and sadhana. Shall I stop here?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you so much for the reading.
No problem. It was my pleasure. Shall we end with Om Shanti? Om
Yeah,
and Three
yeah,
Shanti.
Samasta Loka and Shanti.
Okay.
Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.